Hello again, I'm Javine here, continuing my line of chess annotations for Jamaican games. This time the game is dedicated to one of my games. So this is a game between me and somebody else on chess.com. Those of you that don't know about chess.com account, my username is Chessfavourite. So I'm playing white against somebody called Johhaanes. He has a 1522 chess.com rating, and at the time I had a 1485. Right, I started off at 1200 rating. So alright, the game went d4. I'm playing white again, and I'm a d4 player. So d4, d5, c4, knight f6, pawn take. And already I evaluate this as slightly better for white, because after knight takes e4, white has firm control of the center. So the knight has to retreat, develop my piece, and e6, knight f3. By the way, white started off with d4, d5, and then white played the move c4, which c4 is not developing a piece or opening up lines for any piece. So normally in the Queen's Gambit lines, white initially is a tempo behind in development, but because black had to take with his knight, and then I gained tempo with e4, opening up lines for my bishop and attacking his knight, that made white upper tempo in development. So that is why the line that black played here is already giving white a good a slight advantage. So c5, d5, pawn take, and that d5 pawn is isolated, but is also a pass pawn. Alright, knight out, bishop out, h6, bishop back. Not ready to trade off the dark square bishop for that knight. a6, a4, bishop out, bishop c4. Right, so overprotecting my d5 pawn, and then it throws in this check. So in the game I didn't want to retreat my knight or my bishop or put my queen in the way, so king d2 with the obvious trap of rook e1 to win some material. So you castle out of that, rook e1 anyway, gaining that tempo, and then bring the king to a more safe square and challenge the file, queen up. You know, I could have just played queen d3 in one go. That should have been a better move. Right, anyway, queen d2, b6. He want to bring his bishop to the a8, h1 diagonal and put more pressure on my pawn. And for those of you that are children, you just started out in chess, a very important thing is to put pressure on your opponent, right? So it doesn't matter if this knight cannot take this pawn right away, because you're going to just lose your knight, because the pawn is protected by bishop, knight, and queen. The important thing is that you can put more pressure on the pawn. So if you can put the bishop, your rook, and this other knight on the pawn, you put so much pressure on the pawn that you can get to win the pawn. So that's a very important thing for children just playing chess. It's not just short term, but you have to put pressure on your opponent, right? Pressure bust pipe. All right, so finally put the queen on d3, and then he jump with the knight, So I have to take that, and he takes back, and knight e4. So knight e4, let you see that again, is not a good move, because after is pinning my knight. Take with the bishop, and then I take and take. Alright, so the thing about it now is that there is opposite colored bishop. Position is supposed to be okay, but it's tricky because I'm going to have to be concerned that he has a dark square bishop controlling dark squares. If he can get a battle with the queen and the bishop, that's going to be dangerous for me, because this bishop cannot defend against his bishop. And if you look at my king, in the beginning I put it on d2, c2, and the king is not very 100% safe right here. As you can see, it's in the center of the board. It's not surrounded by pawns. Right now I wish I had a helicopter. I could fly my king right here, and then I could push g3, and I would have a very safe king. I wouldn't have to worry too much about him and his dark square bishop. But I'm supposed to be still okay, you know, just as long as I ensure that this queen doesn't use this diagonal, then I'm okay. I brought my bishop here with, you know, the simple idea of check and then checkmate. So that's checkmate in 2. So g6, I trade rooks and brought my queen to g4, brought his bishop to f6. So right away he's threatening to bring his queen here, and that is going to be annoying. So the best move right here probably was queen d5, just challenging that queen. Once I can get rid of that queen, then he's going to be the one that have to pay attention to this pawn. And don't forget that this pawn is hanging. Instead, I play the move f4, which f4 is just bad, right? f4 stops queen e5, but allows queen e3, and now the queen is going to d4 with the threat of the battery. So rook f1. Better move was just rook to b1 to ensure that this pawn is protected. So queen d4, and I played f5. Like I really hit my head, you know, because he can just simply take my queen instead. He took the pawn, which is also nice for him. King down, check, king up, rook check, king up, queen here, and then I just had enough. So I finally bring my queen here. Takes, pawn take, bishop take, and in this position he's up a pawn, and this pawn is now passed. And I have this concept of semi-pass pawn. This pawn right here is a semi-pass pawn. Semi-pass pawn are equally as dangerous as a pass pawn, because all you have to do is push it and it's going to become a pass pawn. So bishop here, push the pawn. So I'm trying to use this pawn to tie him down. Takes, push it. So his rook is kinda tied down. Bring the king in. Looking at the pawns, he protect it. Rook here, king here. Push this pawn. This pawn is to firm up control of that square so this pawn can't push further, and then he pushes pawn and use my king as a blockade. Alright, so rook here, and you know, at this point, looking back, I think I should have just played like my rook here to, you know, stop him from advancing this pawn at all. I tried rook here, and then he pushes pawn. So probably in this position, I should bring my rook here, so that if he push the pawn, I can bring my rook here, and after trades, if he queens, the bishop is there to stop him, right? And you know, what is he gonna do? You know, he has to trade, and then I just have the simple idea of king here, and then wow, that's a sure draw. Instead, I played the passive move rook b1, which allowed him to stuck my pawn into absurdity. King up, rook here, king up, push pawn, king here, pawn push, and then right here I was saying that probably pushing this pawn and promoting to a queen would be a sure draw, but after I did some analysis, some concrete analysis of it, I saw that it was more complicated, and probably that's a win as well. So probably white is just in a lot of problem right here. The game continued. h3, rook check, king down, push the pawn, take it, rook take, king down, bishop here, rook here. You know, just fighting for some counter chances. Oh, hold on a sec. He doesn't have this threat right now, because if he brings the rook down, I can take this, and he can't take back because I'm going queen. So, but anyway, I brought the rook here, brought the bishop back, bring the rook back here, then he brought his rook there, and I'm bringing my king closer to this pawn. Rook here, king here, bishop protect the pawn again, rook here threatening to promote, bishop back. Right here I should play the move king here, and then I'm going to use the king to try and hold the position. Instead, played rook b1, played rook here, and I shouldn't take that pawn, right? I should never take that pawn, because after this, this does a complete disaster, right? That f pawn, if he had a h pawn, then the game is a draw, but right here I just give it up.